like blue days.
Say extreme days.
Extreme days.
Say we're living
in extreme. Hey guys, Stein for Christ here. Just wanted to follow my last video with a little bit of an update. It's been a couple months, a few thousand hits on the first YouTube video of 96 hour plus pack. To be honest with you, it's kind of mixed tonight on the feedback. I'll have to say that 99% of it has just been awesome, and that's why I want to start my update with some of the suggestions you guys have made. There's some nut jobs out there, and I had to kind of get over that because I want to help people. That's why I'm a professor. That's why I pour my life out into teaching chemistry and helping students see reality through science. So a little bit hard to just have what I would say, unsubstantiated criticism just because I throw a video out there. I don't get that. No reason why I'm called a moron and all these types of things. So that's a little bit of a surprise. But those of you that subscribe to my YouTube page, I'm actually deeply humbled by that. I can't believe how many of you have, and I want us to be able to bounce things off each other and give positive feedback, and I appreciate that. Those of you that are sincerely committed to keeping your family safe, having a plan, whether it's something on your back or in your truck or your home. Here personally, I'm working on my own grid, power and well and alternative gardening techniques and things like that, just to be able to provide for my family. And appreciate those of you that have said, am I going to leave my family behind? And I just want to clarify that absolutely not. My first priority is getting back home. And that's why I carry this pack. I don't have it here in front of me, but you can check out the 96er. My first priority is getting home. In fact, right now I'm in the process of redesigning my Faraday cage. Had some great feedback from some of you on Faraday, and I've run some of the suggestions through my fellow physics major professors at school, and they concur with the feedback I'm getting from you guys, and I appreciate that. I do have to rethink how I'm grounding my electronics, something like my Baofeng or something like that, because I want this stuff to come with me. But I'm also working on like a CT90, which is the old Trail 90, retrofitting one of those to be able to be more proficient with an EMP, to be able to handle some type of electromagnetic pulse weapon. So I appreciate that feedback, and I'm working on that. That's an active component of mine, is how I get from work with my pack to get my family and my wife. If need be, my wife again has her own exit strategy. She's an amazing surgeon. She's an OBGYN physician, and my next update is going to be my medical pack. I've had numerous emails and inquiries about what I carry in my medical kit, and again, I want to break that down for you if it's helpful. I appreciate that the concern there, and I'll do my best to help those that are interested, again, truly interested in this discussion. So what I'm going to start tonight, I'm going to break this down into the three phases: the corrections / input that you guys have received, I have received from you, are right here. I'm going to go through where my video failed, and a couple of you had questions on what the video. I didn't realize this, but the software I was using just interlaced two feeds, and I was talking with four hands and two different mouths, and I think some of the equipment that was in that section, I just want to reiterate what that is. I've gone through a couple things, my personal defense and my knife assortment, and I've really assessed that over the last 2 months since the first feed, or I guess a month and a couple weeks. So let me start off with the feedback I've received from you. A couple things I've really appreciated. I think my first feedback was talking about how my personal strategy on keeping the minimal number of rechargeable batteries on my pack as possible is a big deal to me, because I don't want to have all these exotic batteries. Again, the Baofeng has this exotic battery here, and once this thing is gone, it's gone, and I don't have a way to recharge this. So the first feedback I got on the Baofeng, and again, a lot of you have this radio, I appreciate that. This thing for 40 bucks, I can't believe how powerful this is, to be honest with you. And the ham guys out there, appreciate your feedback on ham radio and the technology and what I should be doing to better equip myself and prepare myself. I thought I was fairly, as a complete novice in ham. I've got some work to do, and I'm actively working on my ham understanding, my ham licensing, and a lot of things that do with the ham. But nonetheless, the Baofeng was my limiting factor on this proprietary battery that I'm not going to be able to recharge once it goes dead. The first suggestion was to go ahead and run this USB cable, which I actually had at the time of my first recording, and this simply just clicks on here, and then the thought was go ahead and plug this in, and then clip this into your to your USB, but this doesn't charge. Okay, this is purely, and I've used this to upload my channels and my frequencies and my responders and my repeaters into the radio, but it doesn't charge it. Okay, so great idea, but it didn't work. The second suggestion that came across my feedback on YouTube was to use or to buy this, and this actually I think came directly from China. This works phenomenally. Thank you, those of you that suggested this. It's a double A. It's a double A. Take 6 double A's. Okay. You put them in there. Again, these are I've tested it. I've tried it out in the yard. I've worked with this. Put 6 AA rechargeables in there. This clips right in to the original battery location. Sorry about that. And that thing is good to go. And it works. Pulls up. Phenomenal fix to the proprietary battery. So if you're running the Baofeng, just look up the AA. Again, I wish I could give you more details on this. This thing is just complete. It was only a few bucks. It's not very expensive, but phenomenal addition to my pack and helping this radio stay active indefinitely, as long as I can recharge. Which again, I have solar ability to recharge. Second suggestion that I appreciated was a rechargeable. I think they're CR123As, 3.0s. This little thing again came directly from China. Came in the mail directly, not a local. But this is a phenomenal, and I've since added 4 rechargeable CR123As to my pack. Again, this one does which is the 3 volt. This also does a 3.7 volt by switching that little switch right there. But this plugs in, and this USB goes to my solar charger. Charges those things. Take a little bit longer to charge them than a AA, of course, because they're more juice. But again, this to me is the kind of information I appreciate, and I'm just really grateful for those of you that took time to post and to encourage that, because I think these additions have been really appreciated and helpful. Thirdly, this was recommended, this Dentec basically replacement filling. I mean, this thing is tiny, but I've thought about that. I actually have, when there is no dentist, I have those books in my own family, preparation at the house, but this is a filling replacement. And I think, again, as many fillings as I've got, I'm trying to get them all, I'm trying to get the silver lead out and put more polymer in, but again, this type of thing right here is fantastic for my kit. Thanks for the suggestion on that, and appreciate that. 2 quick things. Update on hand warmer. I've thought about just replacing, just going with the chemical packs that I use for snow skiing with my kiddos, but I went ahead and invested in the Zippo ultra light. This thing is incredibly light. Yeah, it does run on a type of kerosene, so I don't have this charged up right now. It's completely empty, but I have a small bottle of the fuel that this runs in my pack now, But again, if I'm out here again, I'm in Idaho and it's bomber cold. I mean, we hit single digits here not that long ago, and if I'm hiking home with those, just to have a little hand warmer, put this in my pocket, put it in my person. This is something that I added, and I'm grateful to have. One of the other things that I had quite a few questions on was the type of lock picking kit I use. Again, on my backpack, I use a very abbreviated, smaller version of this Southern. This is my full kit. This is the one I actually practice with, and it's got raking. It's got honestly I can get through so many locks, so many more locks with this, and I've actually toyed with the idea because this is actually pretty light. It probably weighs about 3 or 4 ounces. This is a great kit, and I think for the bang for the buck, this is the one I use to practice with and do all my lock picking on more exotic locks, and some of these locks that are more 3 or 4 levels into complexity, especially when you start talking about the different types of pins and these pins that actually they do false locks. You've got to have a little bit higher end kit, and this is my higher end kit. Again, I toy with the idea of just keeping this in my pack right now. I keep it at home or in my truck, where I actually practice picking locks at a stoplight, because this kit just sits in my cup holder, and also there try a new lock that I got at Home Depot that's supposed to be some high-end lock, and it takes me a while on some of them, but nonetheless a little bit higher end kit. But I encourage you to look into that. Okay, now where the video glitched, a couple things on where the video glitched. I think these are of importance, so that's why I'm going to discuss them. First off, the Concertina cutter. I used to carry a bolt cutter and a smaller bolt cutter, pretty heavy. This Concertina cutter, this Gerber, it's made by Gerber. This Concertina wire cutter, a phenomenal cutter. I think it's 75 torque pounds. You put wire in there, and I've used this. It just mows through wire. I mean, just honestly, if you've got to get through a Concertina coil or something like that, you got to be careful because it's going to recoil on you, rip you apart. But again, if you know what you're doing with Concertina wire, you can snip it, drive it into the ground, and get through it. But this Gerber tool, I think is absolutely crucial to have in your pack. And again, I replaced quite a bit of weight with going with this and this ultralight Gerber shovel. Okay, and again, this expands, but for trenching or for keeping my ground cloth, water off it or snow off it or whatever, I think a shovel is invaluable. And this is the very smallest one I could find, other than some trowel for digging 6 inches deep when you drop a bum in the woods. So again, these two tools I think are indispensable. I carry 3 handcuffs. These are just zip tie handcuffs. Again, these are easy to get out of, but again, I think these are really an important thing if you just want to. If you're in the position to just lock someone up and tie them to a tree or strap them to a tree, you don't want to leave your handcuffs there. Super light, super cheap, and I think they come in a 6-pack, and I've got 3 of them here, and three out in the shop. But again, a really important tool. There's one other thing. Just excuse me. I'm just going to grab it right over here. This is the other thing that was mentioned just recently. I mean, it just came in the mail. This is one of the newest additions to my pack, and this is basically a handcuff key. I don't know if you can see that, but little tiny polymer handcuff key. Apparently, they're having there are several bulletins on how to be careful because this is plastic. And this little thing, people are making it necklaces, and they're the guys that shouldn't be getting out are getting out with these. But I have 2 of them. They come in a 2-pack, and they're only a few bucks. But again, that to me, along, you start thinking about these tiny little additions, filler, and handcuff key. Really nice little tiny additions for very, very little. What is the weight on this? Maybe 2 ounces, or excuse me, 0.2 ounces for my pack. Thanks for the tip on that, and I appreciate that. Now, the other 2 things that didn't make it on the video, the original video, I have 2 different grappling hooks. Okay, I have a gear recovery grappling hook, and I think this type of grappling hook, Again, this one's. I'm try to see who this is made by. It doesn't have it on there. This is a nice little grappling hook. The teeth are kept in the container here. Obviously, all three of these screw on. This isn't a personal grappling hook. This is a gear recovery, or maybe to get a line across a creek, or to hang gear in a tree to get it away. If you got, if you want to. For me, I'm thinking, okay, if I had to get my gear up in a tree, there's times where I could think about putting my pack up in a tree just to have it hidden, and I'm sitting down underneath, a different tree, and just kind of like, hey guys, what's going on? My gear's hidden. Great grappling hook for that. Okay, I would more than likely on this, I would probably use my paracord, tie it around here, throw it up on a tree, pull my gear up, it's out of the way, tie it off if I can, get under a different tree, but I don't have the gear on me. I could think of, again here in Idaho, I'm mountain lion and bear conscious, so get my gear, my food out of the way. Even though my food's dehydrated, there's probably not a food scent in my pack. Maybe getting across a small creek just with a little bit of help, but invaluable. Super light, again, super compact. I keep this on my person. If I want to do serious climbing, if I needed to go through down a serious gorge with the amount of weight that I'm carrying, if I need to get up a building or down a building or whatever, this is the military grade grappling hook. Okay, if you want information on this, just send me a link or drop me a note. But again, this is the real deal. Okay, and it's actually fairly light for what it is. It's some type of alloy. But this is a grappling hook that'll hold several hundred pounds. Okay, so I'm going to use my 9mm cordage. I don't like going metal on metal. Quick connect on that, and I've got 150 feet of my cordage, and I'm going to be able to get down something or up something, or a little bit more substantial than this little gear, what I would call my gear grappling hook. So I carry two different grappling hooks on board. Again, quick food / pack / small item versus something that's gonna seriously. This is actually military grade. I actually got this off eBay from a military guy, and this is the one that they use and carry in their active gear right now. And so phenomenal tool here, and I keep that on board. I actually keep this in one of the outside pockets of my backpack, ready to go. That I'm very thankful for. Okay. That said, I'm going to get into my actual weaponry, and so I started my discussion. If you were with me on the original video, I've had a couple different. This is the Smith & Wesson that is a bayonet. This attaches nicely to my AR-15, and I like it. I think it's a good knife. I think it's got a lot of potential. I've since changed a few things. So let me just go through the research I've done, from the comments from you, from others around, kind of my thinking. I always want a fixed blade knife, and this is my Gerber. I actually have a black version of this still on my pack. It's embedded into my pack, so I didn't pull it off the pack. But this was the one I talked about in the original video. My mutt, Leatherman mutt, I think is invaluable for breaking down an AR-15, for being able to strip an AR-15 with the tools that you need. If you need to clear it, it's got the copper cleaning tool. It's got the pin that you need to break down the AR. I mean, the mutt is, honestly, this is a phenomenal tool, and again, that hasn't changed at all. Okay, so that hasn't changed. What's changed is I've changed my fixed blade. I've gone to a little bit better fixed blade, and I've actually changed my bayonet from my AR-15. So I like the Smith & Wesson. I'm going to keep it at the home for my other ARs for use, but I've upgraded these too. A couple different fixed blades I looked into. Okay, I really like the Benchmade. The Benchmade Adamas, or whatever this is, the Adamas fixed blade, great knife. I like how you can make your own handle out of cordage. Phenomenal steel. The reviews on the Adamas are just phenomenal. So I've upgraded to the Adamas in place of the Gerber, so I'm going to set that aside. Okay. Now, What have I replaced the Smith & Wesson with? I've actually replaced the Smith & Wesson with one of the most expensive knives I own, which is the ZT9 by Zero Tolerance. Zero Tolerance, I think, are between Benchmade Zero Tolerance and Cutco and Spyderco, a couple of those. I'd probably put Benchmade and Zero Tolerance up there after my research and watching a lot of footage on guys that put these to the test. And again, I haven't put this one out in the field, but the Zero Tolerance ZT9 is about a $400 knife. Great fixed blade. The thing I like about having a fixed blade of this caliber is it also doubles as a bayonet on my AR. Okay, so not only is it a fixed blade that I can carry, replacing my other fixed blade, but this is a bayonet with a fixed blade that I think has got some beef to it. Incredibly light for what it is compared to like the Smith & Wesson. Also bought the K-Bar, which is a great American-made knife, a fixed blade. Zero Tolerance is quite a bit heavier. I haven't put these to the task out in the field, planning on beating them up this spring and putting them to the task, but again, I've just been in the process right now of upgrading my assortment of blades, and again, between the Benchmade Adamas fixed, I also added the Benchmade Adamas, or Adamas, or however you pronounce it, folder, which I now keep right here on my person. So these two knives are basically the same, just a fix and a foldable or collapsible. So those two are on board. I don't keep the K-Bar on my pack anymore. It's a good knife. It's a light knife. I'm going to put that in my family what if scenario. This one goes into one of my other AR-15 batches now. And the other thing that I've added just in my personal carry is a nice Benchmade auto. I just like this, there's something I don't know, something cool about an automatic knife, but this is in my pocket at all times, okay? So in my pocket at all times, Benchmade Adamas goes on my person right here, on my right pack, and this one goes on my left, so those stay there, okay? I keep the Adamas fixed, and also, like I said, the black version of the Gerber fixed. People are like, well, why do you need 6 knives on board? Well, again, I don't mind the weight. I'm always conscious of bartering and the what if. And so to add an extra pound, and to have a guy say, I'll take your chocolate, your bubble gum, and one of your knives. Well, here you go, buddy. Just let me get home. I just want to be with my family. So these are the knives I carry, and I'm comfortable with it, and I'm happy with it. And I'll challenge you to do a little bit of research on the Zero Tolerance. I like their smaller knives. It's just they're between Benchmade or Zero Tolerance. I think you can't go wrong. So those are the ones I've added since the filming of the original. I still am a huge fan. I've actually put this to the test over the last couple of weeks, and honestly, this Gerber downrange Tomahawk is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's just because it's basically just a crowbar. Okay, it's a crowbar. It's a handled crowbar where I can, or knife or a hammer, and I've been able to get a decent edge on this hammer. Hatchet, handle. Love this. This is a serious tool, and highly recommend it. Last thing I'm going to end with tonight. Before I sign out, are my weaponry. I've had a lot of questions on what do I carry. Some great comments from you on I don't carry enough magazines. Appreciate that. I've actually upped my magazines by 4, at least for my 45. As far as my 22 long rifle with my silencer, I haven't upped my magazines past 3. I figured that's not protection. That's more of hunting and gathering. And so I've basically added more 22 long rifle bullets on board, but I haven't added more magazines because I figured I could always have time to reload those mags if need be. But the protection mags, I've added more, and I appreciate that comment. So again, this is the P220. This is the one I carry for my own protection. This is always in my pack. I have redundancy. This is also a P220. This is the one I carry, or I have at home. Again, it has a few more options. I like this one, again, because I can you know, I can just boom, I can immediately go to the light, or I can immediately go to the red dot laser. Either way, this is the one that I carry at home, but I like having redundancy between my pack and at home, because the mags are interchangeable, of course, and the parts. If you remember from my original, I have parts to help these if they go down in the field, and that's very important to me. I always carry a weapon. I love the Kimber Solo. This is the Kimber Solo CDP, and again, it's a nice. I'm not a big fan of the 9mm. Nice gun. This thing is always, no matter where I go, this is always with me. It's either on my, it's in my pocket. It's on a mini holster. It's typically actually on my ankle, but this little gun goes wherever I go. Nice, nice laser sight here. Don't always need the laser sight, but again, if I need the laser sight, it's there to go. I carry 2 extra mags, no matter where I go, in my back left pocket. Again, that just goes with me no matter where I go. Again, I'm not a big fan of the 9mm. The 40 caliber, I think the 45 is the best. Personally, again, I had a lot of people. I had one guy just go off on how I'm completely deficient of any kind of protection because I don't have an AK-47 in my scenario. It's like I actually have AK-47s at the house. I just think when I'm in the trenches, most guys are going to have an AR-15, and more than likely, a piston or a gas driven, not a piston driven. So that's why this is a very inexpensive 6-hour AR-15, because again, it's gas driven, not piston driven. So there's all those. This isn't that type of a discussion. To me, that's a great gun, the AR-15. Where the discussion for me is this enough to carry personally? So oftentimes I'll go with my again my Kimber 45, and I'll go with my Kimber 45 again, CDP, my custom carry. I love the 45 caliber, so I go between these two. But again, one of these guns is going to be on my person at all time. Most of the time it's this one because it's so light with my 2 extra mags. I like that. Again, I love the Kimber CDP2, actually, I guess that is. Phenomenal gun coming out of the custom shop of Kimber. Now, the question that I'll end with tonight is this, I've got my nice EOTech. Again, I've got my 60 round Surefires. I've got 3 of these on board. This is a great, super light, the 223 or the 5.56 is a great weapon, just great weapon. If this goes down, I've got my iron sights to come back up, and my brother and I have hog hunted in Northern California with these AR-15s, and they're phenomenal guns to hunt with, so they're going to be great for protection. I have to admit, I do toy with and I go between these two and the other one I'm going to show you. But this is my Benelli M4, and I've done some really nice custom things to the Benelli M4. Benelli M4 had a kind of a bizarre choke to keep you from putting more shells in it. I've had a titanium custom made tube put on this one, so now I can go all the way out here with my M4. Phenomenal gun. Yeah, I like my iron sights with the M4. I do, because again, this is my home protection. I do have some level of actually, I've got the IR on it right now. I keep this on it because it's home defense. I went ahead and upgraded to the actual the Benelli M4 stock. A little more money because the stock was $400 or $500 because it had to come from Italy. But again, this is a man stopper. This is a protection gun. This is great to have at the home, and it would be great to have in my bug out bag. So, which of these would I prefer? I go with this again because I can go out a little bit further. I feel this is close range. This is within under 50 yards, and so is this. So between these two, this is lighter. I've got redundancy with a little bit longer, so I go with the 223 rather than my M4. What I do struggle with is, what about the 6716, which of course is a 7.62 by 51. This is my longer range gun. Boy, I like this gun. I mean, when I shoot this thing, I feel the power of this gun. I feel like I can go through walls. I can go through a car door. I can go through so much more than the 223, which is just going to bounce off a lot of that stuff. Because again, if you remember where this was made and what this was made for, is made to slow people down and wound them, not necessarily kill them or shut them down, indefinitely. Whereas the 308, I mean, this is a phenomenal caliber. I mean, again, this is a 6 hour. This is the piston instead of gas. I've done a couple of really nice modifications to this. I like this gun. I've got this dialed in out at the range of about 400 yards. Right now, I feel very comfortable shooting this gun. And so the thing is with this gun, it's just a bigger gun. It weighs quite a bit more than this. So if I'm going to have one of these strapped around my neck, I go with the 223. But man, I don't know. And those of you that are out there, please don't contact me about how awesome the AK-47 is in the 308. I know the AK comes in the 308 or the 223 also. My brother has 3 or 4 redundancies of both of those. I've shot them. I enjoy them. I think it's a phenomenal gun. Don't get me wrong. But between these two calibers, which one getting home is going to contribute more to my success? And I have to say the 223. I put my marbles in the basket of that gun because again, this weighs about twice as much as this one. I love the way I've got this one set up. I love the comfort of it. I love the size of the 308. But again, for the weight and for what I'm doing with the 45 and the 223, I think I'm well prepared or protected to get home. So that's what I've got for you on an update. I'm going to continue this with other suggestions that are coming in. Again, please just continue to give me positive feedback. I appreciate those of you that put your neck out there, and those of you that just have nothing positive to say, just go ahead and save your words, because I just delete those anyway. So you want to call me a nut job, I get that, but I don't think I'm a nut job at the end of the day. I think the people that their heads are in the sand are the nut jobs. Those of you that don't like that I like Jesus, that's your bad, because I truly believe with all my heart that this is all just to keep my family safe, to keep us safe going through some times ahead that have been prophesied that are going to be pretty bad. And I believe I will meet him face to face. I had a discussion with a man at the door just a couple days ago who was a Jehovah's Witness, and got into a discussion about the person of Jesus, and they don't believe he is God. I do. I believe Jesus is fully God. I believe I only have 3 choices. He's either who he said he was in John 8:58, when he said, before Abraham was born, I am. And what he's doing there is he's making equality with the I am that I am of the burning bush of the Old Testament. He's calling himself God. Okay, that's a big deal. That's not just something. In fact, the next verse, John 8:59, the Pharisees pick up stones to kill him because they realize the blasphemy or what he had just claimed. So again, he claims to be God. He's not just a good prophet, a good teacher, or an ibid. He is the real deal. I believe that with all my heart. He's either God, he's Lord of my life, or he's deranged, or he's a liar. And so you have to put your eggs in one of those baskets, because we're going to bet our life that one of those is true. And I personally believe that the former, that he is God, is true with all my heart. That's why my sign out is Stein for Christ, because I know him and I love him. Those of you looking for a good book to read, highly recommend Dangerous Outlaw by Eldridge, I believe it is. Just phenomenal book, just changing my life, just to see him as a real person. So if you have any questions, just send me an email. I'll put my email on the screen. Thank you again for your feedback, and be safe and be informed and stay in touch. So Stein for Christ out until my next video, which will be my medical pack.
I do days.
Say extreme days.
I do days.
Say we're living.
We're living.